You're on mute.
Sorry, guys. We only have 13 so far out of 22. So we're going to give it until 10, probably 35 for, hopefully most of or rest of the group to join us. And then we're going to begin social studies, okay? We are going to be using the book, sort of. I kind of want to try and make this as interesting as possible. I know the book can be kind of boring to sit there and study. So we are going to be using the book. I'm going to be drawing. Oh no, you're all super frozen. Oh geez. Can you guys see me?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry. My entire computer just completely froze. Yes, we are going to be using the book. But not so much. We're not going to sit there and like study it and read it every single day. I want us to still be able to sort of have fun. Like I said, it's really hard to find that book interesting. I know when I was a student here, we used similar books, and it wasn't very fun to just sit there and read it all day. We will be having homework from it. I'm going to take the content from the book and sort of flip it and make it, like I said, as interesting as possible. Because I know we still have to take our tests are going to come from the book. All of our quizzes, most of our homework is going to come from the book. So I don't want to teach you guys one thing and then have you guys take a test on the book and you not have any idea. So I will be, taking stuff from the book, but I'm going to try my best to make it as interactive and fun as possible. Okay, so we're probably going to get started soon. Let me just get my stuff ready. And if you guys can, you don't have to, because I know I meant to tell you guys this yesterday and I forgot. If you can, bring your answers that you had from social studies, your sort of list, the order that you have. If you can have it in front of you, that would be great. So you can check your answers while I reveal the correct answers. And also, does anybody feel extremely confident in their answers and think they got everything right? You can virtually raise your hand, or you can sort of raise your hand on your camera. If you think that you got, mostly everything right, what do you think? Alyssa is confident. She thinks she got it. Demetrio is also confident. I love the confidence. Who else? Daniel. Anybody else think they got everything right? Abril, you did not get the homework. Okay, so I did this for the previous class. I sort of showed you, I showed everybody where you could find the homework. I showed it yesterday and in the live session, and then also as Miss C sort of said last week when she showed you guys how to operate Teams, she showed you where you can find the recordings if you miss class. Even if you're here for the last 20 minutes of class but you missed the first 10, you might have missed something very important, such as me assigning you guys an assignment. So I'm going to screen share and I'm going to show you guys for the last time where you can find your assignment and how you can upload an assignment. And then from here on forward for the rest of the week, because you will be getting an assignment today in English, I'm going to expect you guys to know how to upload an assignment and how to find an assignment, okay? So it's very important that you pay attention. If you were a little bit confused, pay attention now, because this is going to be important information you're going to need for the rest of the year, okay? So I'm going to screen share now. And right now you can see our answers, but we're going to go to Teams. So this is what you're going to do when I say, you have an assignment. You're going to log into Teams. It's going to look something like this. You're going to have Miss Gomez and Miss C, whatever else, whatever other teams you're a part of. You guys are 5A, so you'll click on your 5A. You're going to see this thing here, all of these different things: general, posts, files, notebook, assignments, blah, blah, blah. You're going to click assignments. 2 meetings. Assignments. And you're going to find it here. It's going to say the order of history. Now, yours is going to look something like this. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to click on this paper with that W there. You're going to give it a click one time, and you're going to wait for it to load, and it's going to look something like this. It's going to have the directions and sort of the content. Now, you'll want to open another tab, and you're going to go back to Office. So you're going to keep this tab open, and you're going to open Word. And when you open Word, you're going to open your blank document. And in the syllabus that I showed you guys, you remember that I want 3 things from you every time you do your homework. I want you to put your name on it. I want you to put which grade you're in. So Ms. Gomez, you guys are 5A with the date. So today is August 25th, 2020. And I want you to put the assignment. So order of history. Then you're going to just go ahead and go back to the assignment and read it. You're going to say, okay, what am I supposed to do? List it, blah, blah, blah. So I think 5 was first, kind of like what I showed you yesterday. You're going to put the answers that you think are correct, blah, 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 and you're going to finish it. Now, what I noticed is that if you click up here, you can change the name of your document, and you can type it in as the order of history, so you can remember it. Now on Word, the great thing about Word is there's no button that you have to click to save something. It automatically saves on its own. So you can go ahead and exit on out when you're done with your assignment. Okay, you can close this now that you know what the assignment is, and so I'm going to show you what it looks like from, don't worry about any of this. This is just me showing what it looks like. So what you'll do is, it's going to say add work with a little paper clip. You're going to click add work, and there you go. The name of your document, since you saved it so it's easy for you to find, is going to be right here. You're going to click on it once. The purplish blue, you're going to click attach, and then wait for this blue bar to load all the way, so that means your homework is fully loaded. So you're going to patiently wait, and then you're going to click turn in. It shouldn't say turn in late, because hopefully you're doing it on time, and you'll click turn it in, and then you'll be done. And when I go to grade, I should be able to find your assignment no problem. I prefer for you guys to turn in your assignments this way, okay? After today, I will not really be accepting anybody sending me their answers through chat or sending me their answers through email, unless you guys have special circumstances and you email me ahead of time and say, I don't have enough time, or, you know, my mom had my computer, she needed it, and I only got to it today. Whatever your excuse is, as long as it's a plausible excuse and your parents know about it, then you can go ahead and do that, and that's totally fine. I understand we all have different circumstances, and it's not really easy to navigate technology. But since I am showing you guys how to do it again, and it's in the live recording, so if you forget and tonight you're like, oh crap, how do I turn in my assignment, you can go back and watch our recording and it'll show you. It'll show you exactly what we're doing just now, okay? So from now on, that's how I expect all of your assignments to be turned in for both English and in social studies. And if you have any more questions, now is the time to ask. And if you have an iPad or you're using it on an app, what you'll have to do to get to Word is you're going to have to download a separate app for Word. So you'll have one for Teams, one for Word, and one for Outlook, so you have access to your email. They all take the same username and password, but you need a separate app for each because for some reason, that's how the iPads and the tablets work, okay? Sophia, I see you have your hand up. Do you have a question?
Well, more something to tell you because I tried to turn in the work, but it said to retry, so I tried trying, and it just won't send in the work. I'm trying to turn it in, and it just keeps failing.
Okay. If that happens, you guys can just, like I said, send it over in an email. The thing is, today I'll excuse it, it's fine. But this is, hopefully next time, you guys will have done your best to get your assignment in the night before or as early as possible. That way, you know, 10 minutes before the assignment's due, you're not like, Miss Gomez, I can't turn it in because it's not letting me. I understand that it's not your fault that the computer's breaking, but that's why if you can get it done and turned in ahead of time, the earliest you can, that way it gives me enough time to say, okay, you know, I understand your circumstances and it's fine. But if you're waiting until the last minute to do your homework, I might not see your message and I might just give you the late points and I can't go back and change it, okay? So try to do your best to do your homework and turn it in as early as possible, not right before it's due, okay? Viviana.
Is this the book? Wait. Is this the book that we have to use?
I'm sorry?
Using today?
Is this the what?
She's saying, is that the social studies book?
Oh, yes. So that's the social studies book, but today we're not going to be using the book. Today, I'm just going to show you guys the correct answers to the homework yesterday, and we're going to get a brief overview of what we're going to talk about this year in social studies, okay? Okay. So does everybody feel okay about uploading homework, finding homework, stuff like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So let's get to the correct answers. I'm going to screen share. And if you can have your answers in front of you, that would be great. So you can sort of compare your answers to the correct ones. So let's go here. Let's present. And I'm going to exit so I can still see you guys. Perfect. If you can virtually raise your hand when you get the answer correct, that would be great so I can sort of have an idea of who has just a really good idea about history and art, okay? If you don't get it right, it's not a big deal. Like I said, everybody, it was really difficult assignment, but it was supposed to be fun. So the first correct answer is number 4. This was the first image that happened in history. Anybody get that one right? Gianni, very nice. Anybody else? Demetrio got it right. Dylan, Victoria, Julian. Okay, very good. Very impressive, guys. All right, so number 2, we've got number 5 is the next correct answer. Anybody get the age of exploration correct? These are a little harder. So keep your hand up if you got it right. So far, Victoria, Dylan, Gianni, you guys are on a roll. Very good. If you didn't get it right, like I said, not a big deal. Don't forget, I do have your answers too, so I know if you're telling the truth. Demetrio, good job. Oh, okay, so everybody's hand went down except for Demetrio's. Okay, number 3, life in the English colonies. Did anybody get this one right? Number 8 is the answer. Anybody get 8 for number 3? Gianni? Very good. I know, I told you guys it's hard. Number 9 is the next one. Number 4 would be number 9. Anybody get that one right? Okay, a lot more people got that one right. That's pretty good. Okay. Number 2, the Declaration of Independence. Anybody get that one right? So number 2 is number 5. This is number 5, I think. Anybody? Viviana? Very good. Demetrio, good. Sophia, Victoria. Victoria, you're sort of on a roll. There may be a few mix-ups, but you've gotten a good amount of them right. Good job. Number 7. So number 6 would be number 7. As confusing as that sounds. Anybody get number 6 right? Sophia, Victoria, Eric, and Sophia. Very good. Okay. Number 8 would be number 6. Anybody? Sophia and Vivi? So Alyssa, Vivi, and Sophia. Okay. All right. And then I think this is, number 9 would be number 3. Anybody get 3 for number 9? We're starting to get into this Industrial Revolution. Okay, good job. I got 3 of you guys with the number 9 correct. Yeah, that's sort of that's their version of when technology was invented. It was a huge deal. And I think this is number 9. I'm not quite sure. Next would be number 10. Anybody get this one right for number 10 for number 9? I think that's what it is. Sorry, guys. I'm having a hard time with all these numbers. They're mixing up in my brain. Anybody get this one right? No? Alyssa? All right. We've got Alyssa. No? Okay. And the last one, number 1. Number 1 was the last one you should have listed. Anybody get that one right? Eric, good job. Alyssa, Julian. So this picture, image number 1 should have been your last answer. Okay, so 3 of us got it right. Very good. 2 of us. Sorry, 2 of us. Okay, that's pretty good. That's not a bad number. I think you guys did pretty good. Did you guys have fun with this assignment? Was it okay? This is pretty interesting, fun to do, like a little puzzle. Okay, I also wanted to go over 2 more things really quickly. I want us to have a sort of an honesty policy from both you guys and from me. So what I mean by that is if you guys feel like class is getting sort of hard to follow, a little boring, you're like, oh, I don't want to show up today, Miss Gomez. It's like, I haven't been really enjoying class lately. I would want you guys to tell me. Maybe don't put it in the chat with me privately, send me an email and say, hey, can we make this week a little bit more fun? It's a bit boring what we're doing here. I would rather you guys tell me that than you sort of just sitting in class, pretending like you're paying attention, but it's actually going one ear and out the other, okay? I want this information to stick. I want you guys to do well when you have your exams. So I want you guys to learn this content as easy as possible, okay? I want you guys to enjoy class. And I know, like I said, it's difficult with social studies because sometimes the stuff we're talking about is old and it seems kind of boring, okay? So I'd want you guys to be honest with me if something's just not clicking for you, okay? That's 1. 2, I was sort of discussing with other teachers how I can establish discipline in our virtual classroom. I know it's hard because, I can't sort of yell at you and tell you, go down to see the principal if you're misbehaving. Not that anybody's, misbehaving, but it's important that we establish that I do want to encourage a fun and easygoing relationship between me and you guys. I want us to have a fun class. I want us to be able to talk about things openly and honestly and comfortably. But I do want to make sure you guys are respecting myself and Miss Carol. So you do still have to remain disciplined. I don't want you guys chatting in the meetings, just chatting away. Or I don't want to be able to see you guys physically chatting somewhere else while you're online. I don't want you doing other work while you're here meeting with us, okay? It's not very respectful. So I'm going to have a 2-strike policy. So 2-strike policy, usually you guys would get 3, but since you're 5th graders, I'm holding you to a higher standard. As you guys know, we have your roster, so we have access to your parents, their personal numbers, and their emails, or your guardians, whether it's not your parents. So if I feel the need that you guys are misbehaving in virtual class, I will give you the first strike and say, hey, knock it off. Please don't do it again. If you strike again for the second time, I'm going to have no choice but to reach out to your parents personally. I will leave them an email and a phone call and let them know about your behavior, whether it's disruptive or it's just, just not appropriate behavior for a class. Okay. So I don't want to seem like I'm being too strict, but, I think it's important that we establish some sort of respect for each other. Does that sound good? It's understandable, right? So we can still have fun, but we can still remain respectful with one another and with Miss Carol. I think it's important that we talk about that, okay? So what today we're going to do is just sort of, like I said, a brief overview of what we're going to talk about this year. So I'm going to continue sharing my screen, and we are going to have a quick discussion about our first 3 slides, okay? So let's go back. I think somebody is holding up a message. Eric, are you holding up a message? Nod your head yes for yes or no for no. Okay. All right. So here we go. What we're going to do now is just take a look at these pictures, and I'm going to give you guys a quick overview, and I would love to hear some of your input. So who knows anything about Native Americans? Does anybody know anything? And if you do, I would like for you to sort of unmute your mic and let us know what you know. Anything about this image? I'm sorry. I sort of gave it away.
They are also called Indians, right?
So previously in history, they were called Indians, but as time went on, it's actually more politically correct to call them Native Americans. So calling them Indians is a term that we don't really use anymore. But in, back in the day, yes, that's what they were referred to. But now we call them Native Americans because they were native to this land, meaning they were the first people on U.S. soil to live here. But that's a good little insight. Anybody else have something they might know about these images, or maybe
They hunt like they kill like animals to get food.
Yes, yeah, they hunt for food. That's a really good insight. Anybody else have something they might know?
Aren't they like the pilgrims or something?
Okay, so that's so they have a connection. So in old history, there is a story about the Native Americans and the Pilgrims sort of sitting down and having a meal together and sort of agreeing on a certain subject, which is a subject we'll get into. That's a very good insight there. That's a whole story in itself that we will get to in class.
Feast, right?
Yes, about peace, exactly. Anybody else have something they want to say? No? Okay, so I will go ahead. If you guys can mute your mics, I'm going to let you know a quick few facts. So yes, they are Native Americans, meaning, like I said, they were native to the U.S. land. They were here first. So they were our first settlers, basically. They were scattered all throughout what is known as the U.S. now, but back then it was just a huge chunk of land. And there were different tribes everywhere. And each tribe had their own leaders, and they would sort of communicate with one another. They would trade with one another. They might have even fought with one another, but we don't really know. But they were scattered all throughout our land. What they're known as now is, if you've ever heard of what is called a reservation. So what a reservation is, it's actually really cool. Native Americans live on their own reservation even today. And what that means is they go to school there, they shop there, they have their own doctors there, they have their own law. So let's say on a reservation, if we made our own here in class, if you guys were all here and we said, this is our reservation, we're going to come up with our own laws. So stealing is okay. So if I steal from Alyssa, the United States police cannot come and arrest me because we live on our own land and here it's okay. So Native Americans actually can make up their own land, and the actual United States police can't do anything about it because they have their own police, their own laws, and their own way of living. So it's actually really interesting. That goes on today. There's reservations all across the United States. Okay, so what about this? The Age of Exploration. Does anybody have anything they might know about that?
I think that they from England.
Okay, yeah, that's a
because
really...
they look like.
Okay, is that Viviana, right? Yep. Anybody else have something they want to say? Okay, so let's briefly talk about this really quick. So there was this guy in Italy, and he was a merchant, which means he bought and sold a lot of products, and he was super, super rich. Like, I'm talking with the jewelry, the really fancy swords, the really cool jackets. And this was back during a time where maps didn't exist, where, you know, you couldn't plug into your phone and say, hey, how long is it going to take until I get to St. Casimir? That didn't even, they weren't even thought of. And even paper maps really didn't exist. And this guy, he was from Italy, and he was super rich. He had all this money. And he said, you know, hey, one day he woke up and said, you know what, I'm going to go and I'm going to travel. And I'm going to get on my boat with my brother, and I'm going to go and try my best to explore land and see what I can find out there. Because where they were at, they thought that the only thing that existed was their land and their people. They never traveled anywhere else. So he was like, let's do this, brother. And what they did was they got on a boat, and they ended up discovering China. They discovered Chinese people, Chinese food, Chinese culture, Chinese land, and the different weather there. And they were like, wow, there's an entire world out there, and we have no idea. We had no idea about it. There's other people, there's other land, there's all these other great things. So what they did was they stayed 17 years in China, and they sort of studied everything they could. And when they went back to Italy, they told everybody about it. And they told all these great stories of all these adventures, all their discoveries, all their findings. And they were like, hey, you know, you guys should explore too. So they inspired others. So that's what the age of exploration means. It means that a lot of people were inspired to explore different land all throughout the whole entire world. And that's what sparked the great, or the what you guys know of as Christopher Columbus, the guy who discovered the United States. So next we have life in the English colonies. So anybody know anything about this? This one's tricky. No? Okay, so the English colonies actually refer to 13 United States. So we're talking about New Jersey, New York, what else is up there? Rhode Island. All of those, what we know as states now, were actually referred to in history as English colonies, because, like what Viviana said, these people came from England during the Age of Exploration, and they found those states, and they said, we're going to name these the 13 English colonies. This is new land. And they colonized them, and they sort of made their lives there. They landed their ships. They made sort of teepee-like houses over here, their own sort of communities together, and they sort of lived off the land like that. And meanwhile, they're discovering all this new land that they didn't even know existed. And that's what the 13 colonies are. They're actually what is now considered the East Coast of the United States, which is really interesting, because this was before the United States was actually a country yet. Viviana.
I thought they were pilgrims.
Right. So yeah, so they could be referred to as pilgrims as well, because that's when the people from England sort of came over to the United States and had that sit down with Native Americans, and they were referred to as pilgrims as well. We will get into all the technical vocabulary, because each of these slides is a different chapter. So this chapter we're going to probably spend an entire week on, maybe two, just studying the Native Americans. And we're going to learn about the different tribes, the different customs, how they lived. And it's going to be really interesting to think. And maybe I'm thinking we can sort of do a big project where we all make our own reservation, and we can go in groups and figure out what our rules would be on our reservation, and what would we like to be called, what would we wear, something like that. That'd be really cool, and we can present to the entire class. Each group can present what their reservation would be like. I feel like that'd be a fun project for us to do in class. And then we're going to spend an entire lesson on just the Age of Exploration and what it was like to explore these lands and stuff like that. Okay. And then we're going to do an entire, chapter on life in the English colonies, and one of each of the images we sort of put in history, we're going to talk about in detail. Okay. So we're going to get all the fun vocabulary, all the cool details, and sort of work that out together. Sound good? Okay, so tomorrow we're going to talk about the next 3 slides, get a brief introduction on those. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. I know Viviana has a question. No? Okay, her hand is down. So I'm going to stop sharing here. Okay, so now what we're going to do is, if you guys notice, you're with me technically until, 12:15. So how this is going to work is we are going to start our English lesson at 11:15. So right now it's 11 o'clock. I don't want you guys to leave the meeting because it might be too difficult for you to come back on. So what you can do is you can disable your mic and you can disable your camera. You can go ahead and you can leave the screen, or you can open a new tab, whatever you want to do. You can watch your cartoons, get a snack, watch a movie, play a quick game, a video game, whatever you want to do. But make sure you're back here, sitting down in your seat at 11:15 for English class, and then we're done for the day. English is only going to last an hour, maybe less if we get through it. Okay, so don't leave the meeting. Like I said, just disable everything and then be back here at 11:15. Try to stretch because you'll be at the computer again for another hour.
I'm just reminding you to stop recording.
Okay, thank you, Demetrio. You are the first person who has reminded me to stop. Miss Carol has, but in the other class you were the only one, so thank you.
Hi.
Hi, do you need help?
I'm good.
Okay.
Why are you so quiet? It's so quiet.
Quiet because it's break time.
Oh, yay. What time do we come back?
We come back at 11:15.
Oh,
Yeah, so if you want to stretch, so right now we're taking a 15-minute break, and then, well, it started at 11, and then at 11:15 we're going to begin our English lesson. So I just told everybody to mute their mic, disable their camera, go stretch, do whatever they want to do, get a snack, watch some TV, and then come back to their seat at 11:15. I didn't want anybody to leave because it's kind of hard to come back on in the meeting sometimes.
so what time do we eat for English?
At 11:15, you're going to stay in this meeting. You'll just put your camera on and put your mic back on, and we're going to start talking about English at 11:15. So you can go ahead and take a break and then come back to your
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Anastasia, are you going to be working from school all the time?
I'm thinking for the rest of this week, I have to meet with Angelica today, but for the rest of this week, I might work from home considering how hot it is. And it's really bad in this building. The heat is terrible.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm thinking for the rest of the week, I'll probably be working from home. Maybe I will come in briefly on Friday to make sure I have everything ready for the next week. But if you wanted to meet at school at any time, I can meet
Oh,
with you.
no, trust me. I'd rather freeze in this basement than
Yeah,
die in the class.
it's
But,
so
you
bad.
know, if you could get somebody to unlock 4B for you, that used to be Maria's classroom. There's a tower fan in there that belongs to me. Feel free to go move it to your room.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you, Carol. Yeah, it's
Because nobody's using it. I told her, I think her name was Rachel that took over.
Mhm. Yeah.
I told her, I says, that fan and that desk chair were mine, but I was just keeping him there till he figured out. But go ahead and even ask Tony to go get it for you now.
Okay, thank you.
Just tell him to go into Marie's room and get the tower fan.
Okay, I'll let him know because
Okay.
this heat
Yeah,
it's exhausting.
well, I brought that tower fan because those ceiling fans just don't cut it.
Yeah, I agree. I have one fan in here that I think Mrs. Eckert had left. I don't know if it belongs to the school, and I have it directly pointed at me, and I'm still sweating.
Yeah. Let's see if Tony will bring that one for you.
Okay, thank you. Why is it I can't hear you. What did you say? I can't hear you. Can you speak up just a little bit?
Do you know if you might have prodigy assignments?
Prodigy?
Yes.
That might be a question you have to ask Miss C because I'm not quite sure what you guys get assigned in her class. I only know about my assignments. So definitely send her a message. She's usually really fast. You could probably send her a message now while you wait for the next 5 minutes.
Okay.
Oh, you're sweating and I'm freezing.
Yeah, it's pretty funny to think. I can't wait to freeze in my house. I would rather freeze.
Well, my mom is 92 and she lives with me. And when I tried to do it upstairs, she has the TV on so loud because she can't hear.
Oh no.
So I just figured I'll do it all from down here and
Yeah.
wear sweatshirts.